You know what's funny? People will tell you what you can't do with the same confidence they tell you the weather forecast. And they're usually wrong about both. And here's the thing, most of the time when someone says you can't, what they really mean is I can't, or I'm scared to try, or your ambition makes me uncomfortable. People project their limits like they're doing you a service. But here's the part no one tells you. You don't need their permission. You don't need their belief. You don't even need their understanding. You just need your own clarity. Because let's be honest, people rarely discourage you because they've analysed your potential. They do it because they've hit the ceiling of their own. And sometimes it's jealousy, sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's insecurity. Sometimes it's the fact that your growth highlights their stagnation. And sometimes they genuinely think they're protecting you, which is just code for I don't want you to get hurt, so I'm shrinking your dreams to match my fears. People don't always mean harm, but that doesn't mean they're right. So let's talk about why it hits so hard when someone tells you you can't do something. And that's because deep down, you're not just hearing their doubt, you're hearing your own. Their voice lands because it echoes the fears you already have. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if they're right? What if I'm just delusional? But here's the truth. People's opinions only hurt when they touch a wound you already have. But that doesn't make their opinion accurate. It just makes you human. The real question is, should you listen? And the short answer is no. The long answer? Absolutely not. But let's break it down properly. You should only listen to someone's opinion if they've done what you're trying to do. They're living a life that you respect. They want to see you grow, not shrink. And they're speaking from experience, not fear. They're not threatened by your potential. But if someone has never built anything, never taken a risk, never stepped outside their own comfort zone, why would you let them shape your future? That's like asking someone who's never been to the gym to coach you on weightlifting. There is a massive difference between advice and projection. Advice sounds like, I've done this before, here's what helped me. Projection sounds like, I couldn't do it, so you probably can't either. One's guidance, the other, that is insecurity dressed up as wisdom. And you need to learn the difference. What happens when you believe them? Well, when you internalize someone else's limitations, you start shrinking your life to fit their imagination. So you stop trying, you stop dreaming, you stop taking risks, and you stop exploring. You stop becoming who you were meant to be. And you start living a life that's safe for them, but not fulfilling for you. And the saddest part, most people regret the chances they didn't take, not the ones that they did. So what if you stop listening? Well, you stop letting other people's fears dictate your choices. Some shifts. You start trusting yourself. You start taking risks. You start surprising yourself. And you build momentum. You start becoming someone you are proud of. And suddenly, the people who said you can't start saying, oh, I always knew you could. Funny how that works, eh? So let's talk about how to know whose voice matters. Here's a simple rule. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. If they're not living a life you admire, if they're not doing the work, if they're not growing, if they're not brave, if they're not where you want to be, their opinion is just noise. And the only voice you actually need is your own. The only vision you need is your own. Trust in your own drive, your own curiosity, your own belief, and trust in your willingness to try. Because you don't need certainty, you don't need guarantees, and you don't need a perfect plan. You just need the courage to take the next step. So remember, people will doubt you until you prove them wrong, and then they'll pretend they always believed in you. They'll underestimate you until you outgrow their expectations, and then they'll rewrite the story. People will try and tell you you can't right up until the moment you do. So the real question isn't, should I listen to them? It's, why would I? So tell me, are you going to let someone else's fear decide the size of your life? Or are you finally ready to trust your own?